guys, welcome to my first half marathon video. I'm so excited to be filming this, but before I start, I did want to say that I am not a professional, so everything that I'm about to say is based on my experience. Anything that you need advice for, especially when it comes to workout and health, speak to a professional about that. Like I've done in previous videos, I'll be breaking down this video into 5 different categories. Those categories are how to start, training, advice, race day tips, and some mistakes that I've made during my half marathon. So let's go ahead and get started with how to start. So the first thing that I would say with how to start running and kind of just getting into your journey is that start with shoes. Get your shoes professionally fitted, so your shoes are great for what your feet specifically need. I didn't do this until 4 weeks before my half marathon, but I really wish that I had, because I could have avoided pain that I was having. I land on the outside of my foot first before anywhere else, so the Hokas did not work for me. It could work for you, and maybe that is what they will suggest for you, but that's why I highly suggest to get your feet, get your shoes professionally sized or fitted. Finding clothes that fit you, also the weather that you choose to start. I think that if I had chose to start running in the cold weather, I probably wouldn't have stuck around to stick to it. I started in the summer my running journey, and then I officially started, I guess, half marathon training in November, but I had all that time from June to November, and where I live, it's still pretty warm even then for November. It still feels pretty fresh outside, so I was able to get into the habit of running, but start running in a weather that you prefer, just so you can start liking it from the very beginning, versus like forcing yourself into a weather that you don't really like and end up quitting and then feeling bad about quitting. And then dress for your weather. So the way that you dress, I feel like, will also impact your run. If you're like me, I'm a bigger girl. I chaffed a lot, and I've chaffed in places that I didn't know you could chaff in. I basically just thought like you would just chaff in your thighs, but there's actually a lot of other places that you can chaff. I started investing in getting running pants, which I will link down below my favorite. I talk about these pants a lot in my videos, but I run with these Gymshark leggings. Those are the best pants for me, and it made my runs a lot better. There's some pants that as I'm running I was like lifting up because they kept falling down over my belly. It just kept rolling back down. And yeah, finding the appropriate clothing, and if you do decide to be more in the cold, maybe you like that, just being comfy during your runs, because you might not want to continue running if you're not comfortable in the clothes that you're wearing. My advice whenever you're starting to run, don't judge your run based on the first mile. For some reason, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate if you guys are running 3+ miles, the first mile is always the hardest, and then it gets easier, and then I feel like for me the last miles of the day gets the hardest. So don't judge it on that first mile if you're running more than a mile a day. That first mile, I always tell myself don't quit on the first. I can quit on the second, third, fourth, fifth, like if I'm really not feeling it, but I never judge it on the first mile, because for some reason that first mile just, I don't know what's going on there. Now for training. So like I said, I started my running journey back in June. That's when I ran, started keeping track of my miles. November is when I decided to make the decision to start running. I'm going to leave my running plan right here. I did add a few weeks because as you can tell from this plan, it kind of just goes straight into like running 3 miles. Even though I started in June, I took a little bit of a break, I think in September, and I wanted to work my way back up to that 3 mile point. So I started running like a mile. I took it very slow, so I did add like 2 weeks into this training to lead up to that 3rd mile, and then I started to do the rest of these. So it was, I think, about 20 weeks or over 20 weeks of training for this half marathon. It is a long journey, but it definitely is worth it, and this training plan is what worked for me. I also use this same website for running a 5K and running a 10K. So if you haven't seen those, I did run a 5K and a 10K, and I did make a video about those. So if you want to check that out, it's over there. This training schedule, I also adjusted it to what would work for me, so I didn't follow it exactly. My days were different than this one. I didn't know that you're supposed to, in the beginning of my running journey, I didn't know the importance of cross training is in building your muscles for running. So make sure you're adding that in there. As you can tell from the schedule, I just increased my mileage pretty much weekly, and then I liked how before the half marathon it was a lot easier. So I think the highest mile I did before my half marathon was 10 miles. I did follow it pretty well. I wouldn't say strictly, but not loosely either. So that find a good plan that fits your schedule. It should take a while. I don't think that like a 4-week training plan is a good plan for a half marathon. I think you should be looking for higher ones, because 13 miles is a lot of miles. Even if you're training, I've been running, like I said, since June, and it still was pretty hard, the run. This is the advice portion. But whenever I did the 10K, I started talking down on myself because I felt like I was the biggest person there. I kept telling myself I'm gonna be the last person to finish that race. I just felt really slow because of how big that I am / was. Still am currently, but I felt really down, and I was kind of comparing myself to the other people. A lot of the runners there were a lot smaller, a lot fit. They were ready for this. And then there's me, who, like I said, was on the bigger side. That really messed with me, like it made me a lot nervous. It made my stomach hurt because of the nervousness that I was feeling. Don't think about this as a comparison. When I did my half marathon, I was like, the goal is 13 miles, and I don't care if I'm the last person as long as I finish this thing. I did not care if I was the last person. I told myself, get these 13 miles done. This is for you. There's no competition. Like, as long as I did it under the 3-hour mark, which was all that mattered to me, because I think that's when they start picking up everything, like the finish line, and they start heading out. And I don't think they count your time anymore past that. So I was like, as long as I finish it through the 3-hour mark, that's all that matters. Try not to worry about everybody else around you. Don't feel discouraged. And then some other advice is, like, put deodorant on areas where you chafed. I find that to be the most helpful. I'm not sure where I heard this advice from, but yeah, so I put deodorant in every place that I think that I could chafe, and I could happily say that I did not chafe that whole half marathon. Just be prepared, because you don't want to be in pain. I know they have like some other chafing things that you could probably get on Amazon. Go ahead and get those, because you want your run to be as comfy as possible. Constantly check the weather so you can dress appropriate for your race. Just be prepared for if it got really cold that day, or if it was really hot. Kind of just feel it out. Have a good warm-up. There's some really good warm-ups that you can find here on YouTube. You just type in warm-ups before a run, and they have some really good ones on here, just to make sure that you're nice and warmed up so you don't get injured. And then some race day tips. I would say if you're doing like a pick it up the day before. That's one thing that when I went to go pick it up, the lady said, it's a good thing you're picking it up right now, because we have over 400 people running, which I didn't think there was over 400 now that I think about it. But so you're not waiting in a huge line before the race. That will help you from, if you're running late to the race, you don't have to worry about picking up your t-shirt, your bib, and all that stuff, getting ready like that. You don't have to wait in a line. Go ahead and do the pickup the day before, or the 2 days before, whenever they have it, or get there early on race day for it. But like I said, along with picking up your packet, get there early so you can warm up. I would eat something before you go. I was gonna just go straight out of bed and go straight there, but I'm so happy that I had some food to fuel me before my run. Nothing heavy. I ate my carbs, I guess, the night before, but I did eat before I left. And I did also have those gel packets to fuel me during my run. One thing that helped me is I had my sister-in-law came and encouraged me during my run, and she would run some sections with me, so that was really helpful. Honestly, when I saw her, it was really encouraging to see her, to have somebody to talk to during this half marathon, because it was 2 hours and 41 minutes, which is a long time to just be running, so it was good to have someone to talk to. Another advice that I would like to share is that getting your stuff ready the day before. So have your shirt, pants, shoes, bib, your gels, everything, your socks, everything, have it ready the day before, days before the race, just so you're not in a hurry, because usually I feel like most races are early in the morning, so you're not like struggling to find whatever it is that you need right before the race. I think that really helped me out. I already had all that set out right before I left the door. Another race day tip is that during your race, for me, there's like a lot of different paths, and asking questions just so you're not confused or you're doing the race wrong. I had to be like, which way am I going? Am I gonna have to do an extra loop for the rest of the half marathon? Because there are some things that are confusing. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even to the runners that just came from that direction. Don't be afraid to ask questions. A mistake I made was that I assumed that there was going to be lots of water stations, and luckily I had my husband have my water bottle, so every time I passed him, I was able to get water. But I did make the assumption that there was going to be water stations based on the previous races that were sponsored by the same event. And yeah, I made the mistake of assuming that there was going to be water stations every couple of miles. Anyways, that is it for my half marathon tips. I will go into depth in my next video on my running journey, exactly how I got started, where I started at, and all of that good stuff. And then I'll get back into my fat loss journey content. But anyways, I am so happy that I did this run, and it really challenged me mentally to keep on going. I'm really happy that I did it. Everything went great other than when I slid on the mud. Other than that, everything went great. And thank you guys for encouraging me and coming along to this journey with me. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment down below of any suggestions that you would like to see. I am debating on doing another half marathon and trying to get under that 2-hour mark. I feel like I need to lose a little bit of more weight before I commit to that, or do a marathon, which once again I do think I need to lose some weight. I think I could do it at this weight, but I would just prefer it just so, because I'm carrying a lot of weight. I think I'm over 50 pounds, I think, over my recommended weight. So anyways, like I said, thank you guys so much for such sweet comments, and like I mentioned in my last video, I have been so lucky to land on the good side of YouTube. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which should be an explanation on my running journey. Anyways, bye.